I saw this interesting graphic coming across my timeline on Twitter this morning because it really does illustrate in kind of a nice and neat manner just how far the MCU has fallen, because you got this line right here that shows what the profitability is. And this isn't necessarily a hard and fast rule because each movie has its own budget, but here, let's just go by this. And you can see how they started off and they got that bump from the first Avengers movie, and that increased the floor for the rest of their movies for a while, and then until it started going up and up, and then it peaked with No Way Home before just completely cratering and then bottoming out completely with the Marvels, seemingly rock bottom for the studio. I don't know how they can get worse than that. And this is something that a lot of people have noticed too, because it wasn't too long ago that pretty much everything that they're putting out was at least somewhat profitable for the studio. And now they're even struggling to make their money back, and it's something that's completely unsustainable. It's gotten so bad to the point where they had to delay and rewrite a bunch of stuff. I mean, yes, I know the delays, or a lot of it were a large part because of the strikes going on, but also a lot of it was just the fact that they weren't happy with the stuff that they were putting out, and that the things that they had written, like Daredevil Born Again, for instance, they reportedly shot over half of it, and then they just scrapped it, fired the entire creative team, the writers, directors, and brought on new people in order to try to fix it, because they understood that what they've been doing in the last few years wasn't working. And if they brought that over to Daredevil, that'd be another colossal failure for them. And one of the more latest gambits that they tried was launching the Marvel Spotlight banner, which for them, it would be kind of like what they've done with Netflix shows in the past, where okay, you have the Marvel MCU shows, and then you have the Netflix shows, which were still a part of the MCU, but very much their own thing. They kind of shied away from that when they fully brought on those Netflix properties to the MCU brand, but still, they're trying to maintain that a little bit, or at least trying to bring it back, with Echo being the first show that's going to be launched under that banner. And now we got Vincent D'Onofrio, who played Kingpin in the Daredevil series and also in Hawkeye, saying that he thinks that the Daredevil Born Again, the new one that they're going to be rewriting, is going to be a part of this Marvel Spotlight banner as well. While on the Bro Bibles post-credit podcast, the actor was asked if he thought the new Daredevil series would be part of the Marvel Spotlight banner. For sure, D'Onofrio stated, "That's my opinion. I imagine it would be. Nobody has said, hey, did you know this? This is happening." Nobody said that, but it is the same tone and feel as Echo. And for anyone who watched my video talking about the trailer for Echo, I did say in that it did feel like they're trying to go for that Daredevil tone or something like that, because it didn't seem like a lot of the cookie cutter MCU stuff that we've been seeing on Disney Plus as of late. The attention that the big bosses are giving it is extraordinary, and Charlie Cox and I are just amazed at how much they care about this series. I can't imagine it being treated any less. Now, of course, he has to kind of say that. I mean, as an actor in the series, he tries to champion it as much as he can, and okay, I mean, that's fine, but also these are rumors, so you have to take them with a huge pinch of salt. I mean, these are just his opinions on the matter. But it does definitely seem like it's something in line with what they've been trying to do with Marvel lately, because, I mean, they're not just going to scrap everything and then reshoot it just because of, I don't know, you wanted to change the tone a little bit or something like that. It seems like that Marvel is kind of worried about their future properties, especially after the Marvels just tanked at the box office, becoming the biggest bomb for the entire MCU. And we've seen with that graph at the start of this video that, yeah, things aren't looking too good for them as of lately. So they need to correct course and fast. And one of the biggest issues with them is just the fact that people don't like what they have to put out anymore. And that's obviously something that they can work to try to fix. But also in the meantime, they can do other things by just not spending as much money on their properties. So it has a lower bar that they have to get over in order to become profitable. And we've been seeing in the future they're going to be doing that with some things, like Blade, for instance, is reportedly going to be the cheapest MCU movie to date. And it's just a matter of whether this is going to be enough to sustain the company. And in all honesty, I think the whole superhero genre is kind of on its way out. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be some occasional successes. But for the most part, I think instead of having the norm be that the movies are very successful, I think the norm is going to be they're just mediocre at best. And you're going to see a lot more of these bombs coming out from Marvel, no matter what they do. And it's just a matter of whether the studio is going to change course and start directing other things in the future. And I think we are going to see less and less stuff coming out from Disney about this. DC hasn't really gotten off the ground just yet, but I think we're going to see kind of a similar thing coming from them too.